YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen were together when Sakchaser and Juvie were shot. Since Bortlen was the one who drove them to the hospital, he got pulled into the case too. He's been standing trial as Melly's co-defendant, but recently he decided to snitch on Melly. Here's everything Bortlen has done so far that points the finger at Melly in the double murder case. The state of Florida is building. Bortlen showed up at the hospital with Sakchaser and Juvie in the back seat, both of them shot. He looked shocked as nurses rushed to help them, but something didn't add up. Melly, Sakchaser, Juvie, and Bortlen had all left the recording studio together. Before the shooting, when Bortlen was at the studio, he wore a white shirt. But at the hospital, he was seen wearing a black hoodie, meaning he likely changed clothes. That doesn't prove he was involved, though it's possible he just had extra clothes in his car. Still, things got suspicious when Bortlen gave different stories about when exactly the shooting happened.
I got on past the light and then it happened like
so it at the time that you passed Chick-fil-A, did the shooting already happen or no?
No.
Okay.
You said at the time I passed it?
Yeah.
Like a little after. I was saying just a little after.
Okay, so you passed the light over here.
Yeah.
As investigators kept questioning Bortlen, his story started to change. It was strange because at first he said he was just trying to hide and protect himself. Later, he seemed to remember every detail like he had seen it all clearly. Raised some eyebrows. We're not judging, but when you keep changing your story, it usually means you're hiding something or not telling the truth. Before Bortlen got officially pulled into the case and arrested, he went live on Instagram. He didn't plan to talk about the case, but fans kept asking about it. It looked like Melly was in the room with him, but he didn't appear on camera. During the live, Bortlen said over and over that both he and Melly were innocent. He even wrote it in the comment section to make his point clear.
Bingo. Me and Melly, innocent.
During the daddy incident, detectives questioned Bortlen at the hospital. While talking to him, one of the officers mentioned that it looked like Bortlen had recently fired a gun, but Bortlen denied it. The detective then said, "You know, we can tell, right?" That's when Bortlen started getting defensive. The detectives had to calm him down and explain that they weren't accusing him of anything. They were just trying to ask a few questions.
Have you fired a gun today?
No.
You know they're gonna be able to tell, right?
I ain't fighting no gun.
Okay.
How I'm fighting?
I'm asking you. I'm not accusing you of anything.
It's normal for YNW Bortlen to be worried in a situation like this, especially with all the drama surrounding the deaths of Sakchaser and Juvie. Remember when Juvie's dad claimed that Melly killed them for money? The story could have easily pulled Bortlen in two, especially since he didn't get any part of the $500,000. The rappers were supposed to split. One of the detectives tried to explain the idea of self-defense to Bortlen. He said that if someone had shot at Bortlen and he shot back, that would count as self-defense, which isn't a crime, but Bortlen kept saying he never touched a gun that day.
The law allows you to do that, but I just want you to be straight up with me, okay? Because if we test your hands and stuff, it's gonna tell us if you shot a gun today.
No, I didn't shoot a gun today.
The forensic team working on the double murder case decided to run tests on YNW Bortlen's hands to see if he was telling the truth.
0 particles characteristic of residue, and two component particles. And the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of residue and 1 2-component particle.
When investigators tested YNW Bortlen's hands, they found signs of gunpowder. His right hand showed 0 particles, but his left hand had 1 particle with gunpowder characteristics and 2 2-component particles. That means at least 1% of gunpowder residue was on his fingers from the day of the shooting. Here's how police check for gunpowder residue. When someone fires a gun, tiny particles like antimony, a rare element found in bullets spread onto their hands. Particles can be used as key evidence. Cops often use an instant shooter identification kit, which gives results with about 90% accuracy. Another method is using cotton swabs on the person's hands and sending them to a lab for analysis. So even though Bortlen said he didn't touch a gun, the tests said otherwise. In court, even a small lie can become a big deal. If a defendant lies once, their whole testimony can be questioned by the attorneys, and when someone keeps changing their story, why would the court believe anything they say? Those lies ended up hurting Bortlen, especially when he tried to testify against Melly. When fans found out Bortlen was willing to speak out in court, they were shocked. If he told the truth, it could mean the murder on My Mind rapper was actually guilty.
Is that Portland Henry?
Yes, sir, he's present.
That you went back to
Status conference.
Come on up.
I guess you're already proud to go to Texas. We're set for October 3rd for trial. Status conference in September. I think we're up scheduled.
On July 1st, YNW Bortlen appeared in court, but he didn't speak out against YNW Melly. Bortlen had been placed under house arrest because, unlike Melly, he didn't have a long criminal history. He went to court hoping the judge would loosen the rules. Abide wanted permission to go to church and travel for shows. The judge said no since Bortlen's first court appearance. Melly's lawyer has kept saying that Bortlen can't testify against Melly because he lies too much.
Those were not Mr. Demons' lies. Those were his lies. Portland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with 2 dead bodies.
According to the rapper's defense team, YNW, Bortlen showed up at the hospital wearing different clothes and lied. Throughout the investigation, they also pointed out that he didn't have a single injury on his body, even though he claimed he was involved in the drive-by shooting.
So the videos of him in the bathroom with the stack of cash.
Anything where he's flashing all the cash, I don't see how any of those things are relevant. They're more prejudicial and probative. The gun is more prejudicial and probative. I'm not listening.
YNW Melly's lawyers have been trying to shift the blame onto Bortlen. Why exactly? We're not sure yet, but the state of Florida still doesn't have strong enough evidence to fully convict Melly, so if his attorneys can take the attention off him and place it on someone else, they might be able to save him from facing the death penalty.
You have the projectile coming in, exiting through the top of the skull, and then continuing through the windshield.
Even though Melly's defense attorneys are trying hard to shift the blame, the case still keeps pointing back to the rapper. When Melly and Bortlen were first questioned, they claimed it was a drive-by shooting, but new evidence found by detectives tells a different story. The bullets from the so-called drive-by didn't have any blood on them. On top of that, the bullet holes in the car didn't match where Sackchaser and Juvie were actually shot right. Now, the prosecutors are hoping for one honest testimony from either Melly or Bortlen. If YNW Melly is truly guilty of killing Sackchaser and Juvie, here's what could happen. If Bortlen decides to snitch, he could still face time behind bars for helping cover up the crime and lying to detectives, which wasted a lot of time during the investigation, even though Bortlen was let out on bond and placed on house arrest, and has even dropped new music since. He could still get up to 10 years in prison just for staying quiet. Melly, on the other hand, could be sentenced to life in prison or even face the death penalty, especially if the gang affiliation rumors are proven true. If that happens, not only would Melly's life be over, but Bortlen and his family's lives would also be permanently changed. Melly's lawyers have been trying to prove that Bortlen can't be trusted since he's been lying since day one. That's really their main defense. If Melly is actually innocent and Bortlen lies about him in court, there's a good chance Melly could suffer the worst punishment for a crime he didn't commit. That's probably why Bortlen is thinking carefully about what to do next. Then on July 19th, one of YNW Melly's closest friends testified in court. He claimed that Melly was at a house when they first got the news that Juvie and Sackchaser had died.
When you heard that, did you see Melly in the house?
Yes.
Did you see Melly how he was dressed in the house?
Yes.
What was he wearing?
Shorts and a t-shirt.
When asked what Melly was wearing that day, his best friend said he had on shorts and a t-shirt. Also said that after they heard the news about Juvie and Sackchaser's deaths, they went to Frito's house and started crying.
What did you guys do?
We were already dressed and stuff, so we just left with Frito's house.
Was anybody upset or crying?
Yeah, we all were crying.
Based on that testimony, it appeared that YNW Melly wasn't in the car during the shooting, and he was just as shocked as everyone else to hear that his friends had died. But what bothered prosecutors the most was how quickly Melly seemed to move on after getting the news. Because of all this, it became even harder for the jury to reach a verdict. So on July 22nd, they sent an inquiry form to the judge explaining that they couldn't come to a unanimous decision. Everyone on the jury had a different opinion.
Check the box, ask the following question. What if we can't come to a decision? Everyone is stuck on which side they've chosen, signed by the foreperson.
Judge John Murphy then gave the jury instructions on what to do since they were stuck in a deadlock. He told them to keep discussing the case and try to come to an agreement. But if they still couldn't reach a decision within 3 days, he said he would replace some of the jury members.
But I want you to go back to the jury room, then taking turns, tell each of the other jurors about any weaknesses of your own position. You should not interrupt each other or comment on each other's views until each of you have had a chance to talk.
But I want you to go back to the jury room and one at a time explain to the others any weaknesses in your own opinion. Don't interrupt each other or respond to anyone's comments until everyone has had a chance to speak.
You simply cannot reach a verdict. Then return to the courtroom, and I will declare this case mistried and will discharge you with my sincere appreciation for your services. Ladies and gentlemen, you may now retire to continue with your deliberations.
Some organizations have started using YNW Melly's case to gain attention and profit. Recently, BetOnline_age YouTube a photo of Melly on Instagram with the caption, "Guilty or innocent?" His case is still ongoing, and the only real way out for him now is if detectives find the murder weapon without his DNA on it. Even if Bortlen decides to testify against Melly, prosecutors still need stronger evidence to prove the motive behind the murders. Juvie's dad believes Melly killed his friends over money, while the prosecution claims it was because of gang ties. Melly's lawyers argue that just because he throws gang signs doesn't mean he's in a gang. They even brought up an example how Serena Williams does the Crip walk on the tennis court as a tribute to her hometown. Their point was, just because someone does something symbolic doesn't mean they're involved in gang activity. Still, they admit it's not smart to act affiliated with a gang if you're not actually part of it. It can come back to haunt you just like it might be doing for Melly now. As of now, not much progress has been made in the investigation. If Melly's lawyers can't get the judge to drop the charges, he'll have to face another trial. He's already struggling to contact his family from jail, but his fans are staying hopeful for his release. Meanwhile, there are serious risks. If Bortlen chooses to snitch, as we've already mentioned, he could face consequences politically, since the forensic team found traces of gunpowder on his hands from the day of the shooting. On top of that, if he testifies against Melly's attorneys could turn his own words against him, which could end up making him look even more guilty. Right now, Bortlen isn't safe no matter what choice he makes, and since we still don't know the full truth about what happened to Sack Chaser and Juvie, it's too early to jump to any conclusions.